Hi everyone, and welcome back to the workshop. Today, we're going to be discussing how I would fix the ERTL Thomas range. If you're new here, the ERTL collection was a range of Thomas toys produced from 1984 to 2004. 20 years of Diecast collectible trades. Despite its long run, the range tends to have more of a negative opinion amongst Thomas fans, for various reasons, some more valid than others. But today, we're going to try and narrow down ERTL's biggest problems. So I'm going to break this up into sections and try to talk about one aspect which is flawed, and then how I would fix it. However, I am going to try and justify some of ERTL's decisions and see why they might have made these choices. Now that we have that covered, let's get into it. Number 1. Scaling. Possibly the most notorious issue with the ERTL range is the scaling, and seems to be the most well-known amongst fans. A common trend through the range is the inconsistency of size when compared to other engines. Larger engines seem to be scaled down and smaller engines are scaled up. This creates odd proportions when put next to each other and never really seem to improve. Some tame examples are the Tar Tankers and Percy, whilst more extreme examples are Lady, Toad, Gordon, and Toby. I can only assume that with the earlier models especially, reference sheets may have been harder to supply, and concept art may have been used. You also have to consider that the length of the tender engines would have been massive, and not able to withstand curves easily without a detached tender. That, plus being made for a child's hand, kind of dictated the size restraints. So I understand a bit why some of the larger engines were made smaller. You see, unlike Take-Along, ERTL didn't really have a stylistic approach and tried more to replicate what was seen on screen, for better or for worse. I can't say though why Toad was giant, and that's a bit of a mystery. The way I would remedy this would have been to standardize the heights and lengths of the models. Simple things like making the cab heights the same and lengths and widths consistent with one another would have really helped in making a bit more cohesion. For example, Gordon and Henry should be the same size, with slightly larger boilers to invoke a larger scale against the smaller models, and perhaps even larger wheels if needed, like Spencer. Smaller engines would follow with a matching height and standard chassis size. That way, they wouldn't have to be made massive. Simple, but hopefully it would have helped some of the larger issues with the scaling. Number 2. Couplings. Couplings are a very important feature on toy trains. Being able to join your trains and rolling stock together is what makes them great toys. However, ERTL seemingly had a bit of a flawed design. Each model had a hook and eye system that allowed the pins on the rolling stock to slot into the engines. However, these were prone to breaking very easily. If too much pressure was applied, they could just snap and leave your engine or rolling stock unable to use with other trains. This, combined with the fact that you couldn't couple engines together at all, was a little bit of a letdown. A big reason for this was actually the plastic used. ERTL used this cheap red plastic that tended to warp and break easily, which is why you see so many online beat up. They just really weren't made for hard play. Now, to remedy these issues, I think a new system and a higher quality plastic would have to be integrated. To ERTL's credit, they did try this in 2003, but it was too little too late. Something similar to the Adventures range would have been really good, although I can't imagine how they would really look on the ERTL models. I don't know. Even something like the 2003 update, just a bit less chunky. Like, the U-hook really doesn't look good, and with a different, more solid plastic, it may have worked better. Maybe a smaller, more compact design could have done great with the same larger couplings they adapted for the front. I can also imagine something like the Takara-Thomas coupling system working too. Really interesting. Let me know what you guys would do in this situation, because I've been thinking about it quite a lot. It could go many ways. Number 3. The wheels. Okay, and lucky last is the wheels. ERTL's wheels follow other diecast lines like Matchbox or Hot Wheels and use a pin with the wheels just loosely on. While I actually really enjoy the effect these give, I can't say that they particularly held up well. The metal axles are so thin that they were able to be bent really easily, basically removing the ability to roll properly. My Percy had this, and the wheels were just bent out diagonally. These were very easy to break, and again, not really made for hard play. To cut ERTL some slack, this form of axle was common at the time, and this was the 80s, so I doubt that they thought the line would really go for 20 years. Honestly, to remedy this, I would use an approach more to the lines of Take-Along. The rigid wheels and the thick axles made for a great playability, and they don't wobble or move out of place under pressure. I really like these, and maybe in a smaller size they could fit into the ERTL models, although the chassis block would probably have to be redesigned. Not too sure. Anyway, that's really it. There are smaller issues with the range, but I narrowed it down to these 3 major problems. So with consistent scaling, a new coupling system, and better wheels, ERTL may have had a better reputation amongst fans. However, I do want to say that despite these seemingly large issues, ERTL has gone down as a great and nostalgic range in Thomas's toy history, and it definitely has its fans, including myself. Without ERTL, the future ranges just wouldn't have happened. The lessons learned made for more durable toys. I honestly really love ERTL, but it made some strange decisions along the way. With minor changes, it could have really been a durable toy line, and I do believe that Take-Along was more successful in that regard. Maybe I'll just have to talk about that range sometime. Hey everyone, so I actually made most of this video to put out last week, but yeah, so I fractured my wrist, which was a bit silly of me. I had to delay this video and get some help finishing it up, but unfortunately I can't really do any of my custom projects at the moment. But I will get back to it as soon as I can, I promise. I have a larger project that I will have to delay for now, but I'm excited to get it complete. Thank you for all your kind words on my last post, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks, everyone. Bye.